Welcome to CATtheMinion Patreon. It's going to be a Romantic Tuesday reading here. This is going to be a regular romantic reading, which would be every other week, and then on the alternating weeks it's specifically to Twin Flame. So for this regular romantic reading, I'm going to be using my yin-yang relationship check-in, but I'm going to do 9 cards instead of 4 for each side. And also I want to point out that I haven't changed my sign yet because I did it in the wee hours of this morning, but I've changed my Facebook from facebook.com/tkenyonart to facebook.com/CATtheMinion. So that's just keeping things tighter and whatnot, and the page is called CATtheMinion Energy Work, and I've changed the title on my YouTube as well, but the URL for YouTube is still the same, CATtheMinion. So after I do these readings, I gotta do some work on my computer, including changing the sign. So we're going to be doing this expanded yin-yang relationship check-in with the charms over here in the charm box, and the decks that I'm going to be using are the Legacy of the Divine Tarot by Cairo Marchetti here, and then the Aquarian Tarot here. So you could either pick which deck you think is you and which is your person, or you can just see what the energies do and which one sounds more like you after. So because this is Patreon, I'm going to lay out these cards on the camera, and then I'll check the adjustment afterwards. So this is going to be a little bit bigger than usual. Usually when I do these, like when I do a Lenormand 9 grid or decide to use a different set of 9, I'll get them laid out face down and then see if the energies need to move the cards at all. That's just how I do. Oh, okay, I did the bottom of the deck. These are a little bit... This is a weird angle for these. I might have to check those from the other side. I feel like these need to be moved though. Yeah, that's right. My neck and my throat feel really weird. I had to vacuum a very complex overhead area yesterday, and it's stuff just ain't right. These charms over here for a minute. It's kind of better for me sometimes when the backs of the cards are specifically mirrored, so that I don't feel like I'm judging which way the card should be as much. Nope. Nope. I'm supposed to okay, I guess that's going to be the bottom of the deck card. So let me get a little angle on these. Let's see if anything needs to be moved. Is that good? There's one right here. Damn, I just hit the camera. Something smells faintly of pizza. Is that right? I feel like I'm playing that thing with the like 16 little squares on it. I'm not convinced about this yet. This whole row. Yeah, okay. Alright. No. I don't know why that's being so difficult. This is very vexing. These cards don't want to stay in one place. I feel like whoever's on this side has, like, their story keeps shifting. Let me try looking at it from this side. Off. Every time I move something, it's always off by 1. Look at it from over here. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. It still seems off. Okay. Try to get all these cards in the screen. So it's a bigger spread than usual. Okay. So let's some charms on here. Oh, I need to take these off the stack too, because they're just going to be in the way. No, that's it. Alright. Okay. Let me move this up so I can do this Aquarian Tarot section not quite as far away. And then I'll move it back again. There we go, Fall Crimson. Okay. This goes here. This goes here. Alright, this was way off to the side, face down. So I get this, like, a little bit of the idea of, like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm remorseful for something I said or did just to make you feel better. You know, like, oh, I'm sorry I upset you, but no, I actually meant what I said, because I was giving the real tea. And I see the tea over here, so that probably goes with that. But that's on the other section. So let me get these sorted out here. Okay. So for this Aquarian Tarot, I have the World. 21 breaks down to a 3. This is Saturn energy. So right away I feel like this is talking about Saturn going direct. Because we do have this idea of precessional cycles here. Now also with this I have the Man. The masculine energy. Which is interesting because the 3 breaks down to a feminine number. The Empress number is 3. So we're going to hold on to that thought for a minute. It might be the inner masculine of a feminine energy. Or the masculine side of the inner child of a feminine energy. So I have the 2 of Rods. Two of Wands is Mars in Aries. So Mars is currently in Aries and it's retrograde. But this is also like making a choice, making a decision. He's trying to scry into this crystal ball to figure out which of these 2 sticks he should take, which option he should really hold on to. And I mean, just saying he, because it looks like a masculine figure here. And it's looking towards, it's like, I'm looking at the world through my crystal ball, and here's the world. So I have a sphere and a sphere. I have a, it's like this energy wants to be a man of the world. But I'm only at a 2. I need 19 more. Okay, so I have this Sagittarian arrow. Jupiter just went direct in Capricorn, which is Saturn energy. But this could also be an Ace of Wands. So I would have 2 and 1, 21. I'm trying to get over there. I've been stuck at home, and I need to be able to travel the world more to get to what I want. But I also have these books here. School books. It says history and geometry, and then there's a writing tablet. Now, it's not necessarily important what these books are, but it's like, if you be like a person of the world, you learn by interacting with other people. It's sort of, you know, it's like, I don't want to, like, I'm reading about it, and I'm stuck here, and I don't want to just read about it, I want to go out and experience it. So, these 2 were inverted. I have the Earth and Jupiter. Right, so the World retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and here's Jupiter retrograde, ruled by Sagittarius. Saturn is still retrograde, but Jupiter is not. But here it's appearing upright, so it's this, and then I have 2 rods here, right? It could be 2 weeks between the flipping of Jupiter, because it just went direct, and then right before October hits, Saturn goes direct. And it's sort of this idea of like, it's opening up the world to experiential things instead of just, you know, looking at it from your chair, right? It's like I've been, you know, I've had this desire, wands, to be part of a world, but I've been outside of the bubble. Like, it's like Ariel, like, I wish I could be part of that world. And it might be, this is a romantic reading. It could be like, I haven't been able to see you because of COVID, but it could also be these energies of like, I've been cock-blocked in everything I've been trying to do to get further ahead in my life, and it's really messing with my head. Like, I've done my homework and put some effort in, and I can't get where I want to be. So we have the Nine of Swords inverted. Mars in Gemini. Okay, so Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is in Libra right now, which is ruled by the Empress. When we see this number 3 here, it's an Empress number. 9 is like it's like a cube of the 3, but it's also a lower vibration, so it's a little bit like inside out in that way. But this inverted is sort of the end to the nightmares. I also get this idea of the Nine of Swords being a half moon in terms of the darkness. Right, the nines for me are always half moons. It's like a dreamy or nightmarish, depending on it. Nine of Swords inverted is kind of like saying we have a Nine of Cups. But the point is the energies with this card, right? The only way to end nightmarish conflict in terms of balanced communication is for Mars to be retrograde in Aries, sort of unweaving the nightmare tapestry in a way. 911 11 universal timing. And then we have the world, which is essentially the universe. So, next row here. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. The Fool inverted. Okay, so we have Uranus retrograde in Taurus right now, which is more Venus energy. But also Hierophant energy, especially because there's a 5 next to it. I'm getting a little bit of John Lennon just like starting over. Notice how this Fool in particular, the O's are slammed together so it forms a Vesica Pisces. So it's almost like the generation of something new has to do with going within instead of taking a giant leap into somewhere, right? It's like I've been planning on going into the world. I know what I'm trying to do. Right? I don't have to take a leap, right? He's not putting on his flight suit. He's putting on his regular travel clothes. I'm just saying he because it looks like a dude on there. Don't take it personally if it's not, because we have feminine images and masculine images here. Everybody has both. Oh, and then on here is the Nautilus. Now, not only do I have this Vesica Pisces here, but I have the Phi ratio, right? This is generative geometries in the universe. So we have the world here, but it's like I'm not going to start a new spiral, right? I'm not going to start at the beginning at the 0 point and try to work my way back out. I've already got something going on that I'm trying to think of. The Nautilus there again. Now what's interesting is that these are cephalopods, which means head, foot. And then I have the word fool here, and the only difference is the L and the T, which are actually kind of similar. So it's kind of like saying to me that there's very little difference between blockage and going forward. And it's sort of hanging by a thread on these retrograde energies. The Hermit inverted. Okay? So it's like we're like going inside your consciousness for growth, but not really actually going inside. Or it's like I did go within for growth and I already found the illumination. I know what I want to, I see what I'm doing. This is, the Hermit is Virgo energy. Yeah. Which is ruled by Mercury. Then we find this kitty cornered with this other mercurial energy, which both happen to be 9s inverted. And I feel like it's trying to tell me that this person is getting illumination from their dreams and they're not consciously going within. But the dreams themselves are affecting this consciousness of this person by resolving inner child trauma. Judgment. Fire energy, but with the planet Pluto. We have number 20 here. So what's interesting is I have the 21 and the 20. Now Pluto is also retrograde in Capricorn right now, but it's going direct on October 4th. But a lot of the times when I see going within, I do see Pluto and Scorpionic energy. Now, because Pluto is ruled by Scorpio, blah, 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 but I mean, Pluto and Scorpio have to do with the death card, which is transformation. But there there might be a 13 here, I'm not sure. 5 and... Was there a 5 there? 5 and 4, that's 9 again. Oh, 2 and 2 and okay, so there is a 13 here. 5 and 3 is 8. 2. Yeah. 2 here, 20 breaks down to 2 again. Plus 9 is 13. Plus 9 is 13. So the fact that this Plutonian death resurrection energy is coming up is actually valid. The Judgment is closing the book. We're closing the chapter on this book. We're going to go into a new realm, right? I'm going to step out of this closed section of the book of staying home and wanting to be somewhere else and not enjoying it, and I'm going to go into this book that's got maps of Kansas or whatever. Don't fold the maps. So on the Judgment card, all in reverse, I have Gizmo, which is interesting because he can't have bright light, which is part of that death darkness energy. I have a scroll. Okay, so this is sort of ancient wisdom, which is interesting because I have history written on the book over there. And then I have this cake. So this is actually really funny, right? Because part of the meaning of Gizmo charm here is you have to pay attention to the details, right? There's rules. It's sort of like Judgment also has to do with rules, right? Where you're being judged by a certain criteria. And the scroll is also like information, so pay attention to the details, take in the information, and the cake is just like, remember not to feed him after midnight. You know, like the witching hour. And these are all in reverse, so it's sort of like if you've been choking on what you're trying to achieve, walking on pins and needles, trying to do everything right, this period is coming to an end, because that's all tied to, it could also be tied to childhood trauma. Like, if you don't do everything right, you're going to hear about it. Well, you know, everybody's human. It's all part of your growth and experience, and once your consciousness shifts on that, then you're not going to be walking on eggshells with everybody, and you won't feel bound to be in a tiny little area when you could have expansive energy. When I see that, because this Five of Wands sitting here from the crossover energy is conflict. I have to do everything right if I want to avoid conflict. Alright, so this card here has a calendar on it, which is a sexy calendar there. Three of Cups. Interesting. Sexy ladies. So Three of Cups is kind of also a lower vibrational Empress energy, right? Because I said the 9 is like 3 squared, which you'd think be more than the 3 of the Empress, but it's actually a lower vibration. And here is another, and notice how I said the 9 of Swords invert is like the 9 of Cups upright, but here's the 3. This is the root of it. It's like, I want to celebrate. I want to be able to enjoy myself ever. And I've been waiting for so long to be able to just go out, right? 3, I've been able to go out in the world and enjoy myself as a human being. 3 of Cups energy, Mercury in Cancer. All right, so we're dealing with that emotive and nurturing Cancerian energy combined with Mercury communication, right? I want to feel comfortable hanging out with other people and not have to worry about all this shit over here. Like, how long is this gonna take? It's years of my life gone by where I can't just be in the world and enjoy myself with other people. It's like you know, this person looks like they're out to get me, and this person isn't revealing themselves to me, and I'm over here in the corner like, do you have a cat I can talk to instead? But there's this huge, like, sunflower thing behind here. It's like, in my core being, like, I just want to be able to chill. Very tense. Okay, so here I have the 6 of Rods. Now it's interesting, it goes from 3 of Cups to 6 of Rods, this sort of like, I want to be able to, you know, enjoy myself in public, and here it's like, I'm the cock of the walk, right? I'm famous now, bitches, like, and you didn't want to play with me then. You didn't want to sit with me, look at me now, kind of energy. And it might not be that, like, Schadenfreude kind of a thing, but we do have Jupiter in Leo here. Notice Jupiter went direct, and Venus is currently in Leo, so it's like a little bit of your time to shine energy. Notice we have a 3-6-9 here, which is like a really intense universal ramping up of energy. It's part of that generative fabric of the cosmos kind of energy. Now with this 6 of Rods, I have the skull, right? And I did mention the death energy over here, the transformative. And I might come back to that because there might be more here. I also get it's all in my head kind of energy as well. The fox here, right? This energy actually kind of fits more with this. It's like, I don't know if I trust you, but if I can trust you, I'm gonna be like a total dork about it and like roll around and be all excited. And I also get a lot of like Metallica, sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight, which is kind of the 9 of Swords energy as well. So it's like I'm trying to trust that the nightmare is over, and that if people start valuing me, that it's not going to ultimately kill me. right? It's like, is this, like, are they gonna stab me in the back? Am I gonna get 10 of swords again if people are they pretending to like me? And I do have a 9 here, 999. So this charm here that came out reverse is a kind of like the 6 of Pentacles. It's charity, right? So I get this idea of like, I don't want your charity. I want you to actually care about me. I don't want you to be like, ooh, who's that? They look fancy. I want you to say like, oh wow, you're like an actual person, right? I don't want to have to be suspicious of your motives. I don't like me just to pity me, like me for who I really am, kind of an energy. All right, now this crossover energy from the other pile, this sort of, you know, the light and the dark, or the dark and the light, of the yin yang, what the energy that you're picking up as connecting you to the other person, right? It's like, what is the thread that binds you? Now, let me move this back a little bit, because this is a 5 here, right? So we have sort of like a conflict and pivot energy in between these romantic interests. But let me read this one first, right? The 5 of Wands. Is that in focus? Can't fucking tell. Shiny. The way this is drawn, it's like 5 masculine energies that are all growing out of the same tree root, and they're all trying to chop each other down. Or do they have... Oh, they're not trying to chop each other down, they're just trying to hit each other with these pointy sticks. The pointed stick. So this is Saturn in Leo. So notice how we have this, like, I want to be able to enjoy myself in public with this Jupiter and Saturn in Leo energy as a border. But notice that we have 11, universal timing, the union of 2 opposites, but also 14 total, which is balance. Like, I'm trying to gain some balance, but I feel like I'm in conflict. And what's on the charm that fell out on that is water droplet inverted, right? It's like, I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel less. I don't want to cry about anything. Just goes back to this over here. So I'm going to attack first. Preemptive strike. Let me get down here to this other side. Focus. Break on through to the other side. With water. Hydration. I'll bring Susan over here. Oh, I gotta change the battery now anyway. Alright, so on this side, there was this sort of mask here, and I feel like it's, even though it was off, it's supposed to go over here. So we'll look at these cards. I have the King of Wands inverted. Cancer and Leo energy. Okay, so this, when I see Leo, which is the sun energy inverted, it tells me darkness or moon energy. Right, this king is someone who's kind of operating in secret. Like, he's a little bit shady, more of a sorcerer than a magician. Now, this charm came inverted on there. These are holly berries. When it's inverted, though, it kind of looks like a bat. So you get a little bit of, like, Batman energy. I also see this as representative of Christmas, which is the number 25, which breaks down to a 7. And it does look like he's got a 7 here, the way that his belt and this wand cross. Now, King can be a 1 or a 14. But with that 7 kind of sitting there, it makes me think that... I just heard she moves in mysterious ways. Because 7 is the chariot number, and there was Cancerian energy here as well. But I get that a king being a 14 inverted is out of balance, so it's sort of like only half of what it needs to be. And also the idea of Christmas is sort of a shift from like a 3-day stalemate between the darkest day of the year and when it starts to get lighter. At least in the northern hemisphere. But also just this idea of like black magic, kind of. So we have the Hermit here. So we have sort of a reciprocal energy going on. A 9 upright. So here we have Virgo energy. This person needs to go within and is in a place where they haven't fully come out of this darkness yet. Now, a 1 or and this could be a 1, so it could be 1 and 9, it could be 10, but it could be 9 minus 1, or 9 minus 5, which would bring it to a strength or an emperor number, which is kind of interesting. But I also have 9 and 5, which brings it back to 14, which is balance. So there's this energy that leads back a little bit to the Mars retrograde in Aries energy, and also this Mercurial energy that's in Libra, ruled by Venus, which is currently in with Leo the Sun. Now I'll come to this 5 of Cups after I read these other ones. Alright, so we have the Wheel here. The Wheel is kind of speaking to the world up there, and the Sagittarius energy. Right, the Wheel is fire. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is Sagittarius energy. This could be a 10 here. 1 and 9 could be 10. And then we see that here coming in under the King of Fire. We have more fire and a completion of some sort. Right, it's like Jupiter going direct is forcing this sort of sorcerer energy to think about what he's done. Now, I have this llama here that came out, and I'm not always sure what that charm means, but I knew that I need to make it. Now, I want to bring this in here. This is, let me move the camera up a little bit. This is a ceramic llama that I got at the grocery store, and this is a flowering succulent. Her name is Susan. Some flowers going there. But I brought this out because that's what that llama charm reminds me of. Right, we have something small that's growing, and there's a balance between fire and water, right? A succulent or any other cactus has to have water, but it also needs dryness. If you water it too much, it's gonna die, right? I'm like, oh, this soil feels pretty dry, I should water this. But in my head, I'm like, no, I have 3 more days. I don't want to drown this thing because she's doing so well. Got all these buds that are just about to open, right? So the energy that I'm getting with this llama over here is that now that the wheel has turned, there's a whole bunch of opportunity and abundance that's about to open, but you can't sort of drown it. You don't want to it's like you don't want to have an emotional breakdown because some kind of opportunity is finally coming in. Which is kind of a weird way to put it. It's like, shouldn't you be happy? But it's like, if you're in your ego, you might think, well, the ego might be telling you to be upset about opportunity because you want to be, it wants to feed off of the status quo. So we have 3 wands inverted with the thermometer going the other way. And I'm getting a little bit, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. But this is the, like, looking towards the future, like my ships are going to come in energy. And I feel like it's speaking to this 3 of Cups over here. The energy is the sun in Aries. So again, I'm getting this idea of an inverted wand with moon energy. And the Hermit can be kind of like a half moon at that 9, because it's this going deep within to find these sort of secrets and nightmares that exist by sort of spelunking in your own energy. And I see, I mean, 5, this can combine to 5, this is a 3, and here's a 10, so I do have the number 18 sort of kitty cornering this Hermit here, but it also is like all fire here. I see 13, which is that death and transformation number as well. The Chariot inverted. So this goes with this, right? I see a 7 here, this card is inverted, and then I have 7 here. Cancerian energy, which is part of this. And this is ruled by the moon. So now I have a moon card inverted, which is trying to gain some illumination, which kind of speaks to the Hermit as well. And I also see 9 and 6. 9 and 7 is 16, the Tower, which breaks back down to 7 again. I'm trying to gain balance in my movement, but it's like the only place I'm going is within. I also heard like going to hell in a fast car. But look at this. It's like the idea of it's too hot, get out of the kitchen. I have these mittens. It could be oven mitts though. Like I need to handle this with kid gloves. But also the white flag. Like, okay, I give up. I am gonna go within. Like the heat is too much. I need to go into the water for a reprieve. So the closest thing to this inverted sad mask is the Knight of Cups. So this is actually, it's almost like a storyline here. This moon energy that's trying to balance this King of Wands upright is coming in with this Knight of Cups. Now, if the Knight was inverted, it'd be like I'm way in over my head with my emotions. But I see the 7 here. I see this 5 of Cups inverted that's coming from the other energy that I'll get to in a minute. And I was looking at this and thinking of the Hanged Man, which is somewhat related to the Hermit. The Hanged Man is getting messages from their higher self and their guides and stuff. The Hermit is sort of getting messages only from deep within themselves, only from their higher self, not from their guides, not like a download, but like an opening of a secret, not like a fortune cookie, but like unrolling a scroll that you found buried deep in underground. So the Knight of Cups, Knights always have a fire background, so they have a Knight here with this fire follows, and then we have Aquarius and Pisces. What's interesting is that Uranus and Neptune are both retrograde right now. But this Knight of Cups upright is like the Hanged Man in reverse. Hanged Man is Neptune energy, and this in reverse gives a nod back to that Neptune retrograde. There's the psychic intuitive consciousness is going through an overhaul right now. And this idea of like, when I said this in the beginning, I was like, well, I'm not really sorry for what I said, even though I'm pretending to be remorseful, is a lot like this black magic energy here. But now here is this comeuppance. It's like, oh, you're going to be like dunked under cold water and brought up like Gina Davis in The Long Kiss Goodnight until you remember who you really are. I haven't seen that movie in forever. Alright, so here's the real tea. Notice we have this coming in with cups as well. The Eight of Coins. Okay, the Eight of Coins. So the Eight of Pentacles is usually about doing work. And we see that as there's this emotional work that's being forced to happen here. The Sun in Virgo, which is what we have right now as of this reading, at least for the next week. So there's that Leo energy again. Now, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is in Libra right now, which is ruled by Venus. And for me, Virgo is often, well, I've discovered recently that Virgo is like the inner child of the Empress. So we have this kind of looped around energy, Venus and Leo, strength, balance, work, growth, grounding, right? I'm trying to do this work to ground my emotional energy so that I can mature. And now I'm drinking tea instead of soda for my caffeine because I've grown up a little bit, right? Okay. So here's another 5. Now we have the Hierophant. Now what's interesting is that for me the Hierophant, at least in terms of masculine energy, which is what I feel like I'm looking at on this side in particular, is the Emperor and the Magician together. And I said this is a king who is in fire, which is representative of Aries, like a low vibration of the Emperor, when we had low vibration of the Empress over here. So this low vibration of the Emperor, I noticed the difference between the 5 and the 9 is that number 4. And this could also be a 1. But I said black magic, so it's like a low vibration Emperor in the distortion, because he's inverted, who is also using the Magician number, 14, the 1 and the 4 together. And doing this emotional work by going deep within, going to basically to the underworld quickly, like a drop tank. It, as after going within over here, it brings in this like universal download that connects to the universal energy, that generative force. So there's like a different pathway on each of these, but the net result is like connection to the self and then uplink to the universe at large. So here is a pigeon, and I feel like in this case the pigeon is the universal download coming in like information, right? A carrier pigeon, the message. In a battle. Ooh, I should make a charm that's that. And also a letter. Okay. I should actually draw those charms because I've got a good list going. So in the opposite direction, should my time, I have the winter hat, and I have this pig. It's like a winter pig. Now sometimes this hat is like, you're not going to pull the wool over my eyes anymore, especially if it's inverted like this. And then the pig, when I saw it, I was thinking about like digging for truffles. Right, this is like a lot of you need to go deeper energy. But I also get this idea of, like, swine. Like, if you have an authority figure who's abusing their power, they're often thought of as swine. And I feel like this is saying, not only are you no longer pulling the wool over anyone's eyes with your bullshit, and also, again, this idea of temperature, right? We're cooling things down, but we're not going to turn to ice in the process. But we're also, once you've dug deeper, you get access to this information. There's a pivot, 5, right? Pivot, 8 and 5, 13, death. Death. If this was a 1, that'd be death. Is there a 6 here? 1 and 2, 3 and 3, 6, and 7, death. Okay, so there's a lot of transformative energy here. Oh, I also get, like, pig in a blanket, too. Like, snack time. But what does that mean? Well, anyway, I don't think it's that important, but it might be something for somebody. So the crossover energy here is another 5. I see 5, 5, 5, 5. 2 and 3, 5. 5, 5. 5. Okay. So there's a lot of energy that's shifting and pivoting, but there's also aspects of conflict here, which we see because there's different struggles trying to be overcome. This might be, I'm walking on eggshells, I thought I had to be perfect, to I'm going to avoid criticism by controlling everything in a dictatorial kind of way. So still in focus. I'm not even sure what I'm doing here. Okay. So this crossover energy from the Aquarian Tarot is the 5 of Cups inverted. This is usually like a woe is me kind of energy. Notice there's a split between the 3 and the 2 here. And that's sort of giving me this link back to the world and judgment as being breaking down to 3 and breaking down to 2. 5 of Cups energy is Mars in Scorpio. So there's that definite scorpionic Pluto death, resurrection, release, rebirth, transformation kind of energy. And with it inverted, scorpionic energy inverted is another thing that tells me we need to go deeper, like into the underworld. Did I have a skull over here somewhere? I did. Sort of 6 of Rods and the Chariot are kind of talking to each other as well. Mars retrograde. Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. So I have a shield here. And it's kind of like I'm giving up this misery. But there's something that's still, like, I need protection. Now here, well, in the opposite way is the dress. I'm not addressing emotional pain because I want to protect myself from it. But at the same time, I want to be relieved of it. So it's like the shift is, the shift for both of these, I'm coming out of conflict. I'm coming out of emotional pain that I was holding on to because I was ignoring it and stuffed it in the closet. Here, it's like, no, we're going to dig that up because we need to get this mountain spring unclogged to get to this night of waters floating. And it's interesting that it's like this reading is actually kind of basically temperance. Fire here, cups here. and a lot of moon energy here. It's not totally balanced, but there is a lot of fire energy, and there's water and moon energy throughout here. And again, this idea of fire, dryness, but water, life. I want to throw down. I think I want a final pair to wrap up this whole reading. Like, what is the... I feel like I should have grabbed an oracle deck for this, but I'm not going to get up and get one right now. Give me a final result for these people. Okay, this one wanted to come out too, so we're going to take both of these. Okay, so I have 3 of coins in judgment. So again, we're moving into the next world, and look at this. 2 and 3 again, breaking down to 5. Right? Everything's combining into something that's shifting. So we've got this fire, Pluto energy, and then the 3 of coins is Mars in Capricorn. So there's that Martian energy again. It's like I'm trying to figure out how to work with other people so I can move on. Right? I don't want to keep in conflict because I have to be the boss and I feel like I can't speak up against this tyranny. Got a 2 from this one too. Alright, so Page of Rods is in a challenge position, right? I want to speak up about what's shifting in my core, what I've been working on, but I'm not quite sure how. Like, I'm a little bit shy. And then the Chariot again here for movement. So I have 11 and 7 here, which does combine back into the moon. Okay, so we do have a new moon on the 17th. So this might be the culmination of this energy for this week. I see a 10 here, and then I see 31 here. But this could also be a 1. So it could be 21. It could go back to the world and then the wheel. Right, the world and the wheel. Which goes back to Saturn and Jupiter energy. So it's basically just saying like this person might be the world to you, but you're the one who like revs their engine, I guess. It's like you might mean everything to them, but you're the one that inspires them to move in a certain way. When we see that it's almost like a codependent relationship here, right? Someone who has a need to control, someone who's afraid to like break character, basically. Like afraid to break the rules, even if the rules are not great. Okay, so if you want to get a personal reading, what is this? This is for Patreon, right? Where am I? Who am I? Yeah, Patreon. Alright, so if you want to get a personal reading, you can hit me up at, I gotta fix this sign, this is awful, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. Over here. Again, I just changed my Facebook. The Facebook is now facebook.com/CATtheMinion. It's the same content and stuff. I just retitled it a little bit. If you want to continue to support my work and what I'm doing here, you can level up if you're not already on Patreon here, and then you can always hit that tip jar, paypal.me/CATtheMinion, and then I have Cash App and Venmo. If for some reason you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel at large, you could go ahead and do that. Like, share, subscribe, comment, check out the discussion tab and the playlists tab there out on the open range of YouTube. I've got merch and prints. I've got ow, am I stuck in my hair? I have merch and on the cafe press, like this necklace here. You can zoom in on that a little bit. There we go. So this is my old Crestfall necklace. I haven't completely redone this merch yet, but there's still a few things up with this design on it, and there's many other designs. There's lots of different jewelry in the designs. Some of them have the square shape, and other shapes are available. So that's something that's on my cafe press. This is a little dirty because it's old, but that's all right. And then I have the prints on DeviantArt. I've got the... Jesus Christ, that's still not... Okay. Energy Forms, Draco Forms coloring book, Lantern poetry book. It's like Dark Night of the Soul stuff. And then I have stuff in my catalog here. I have chapbook packs, which is like little bits of art and writing that is sort of like a synchronicity stimulus packet. They're all randomized and packed up. It's like a little mystery pack. And then I have made to order items and the singular art pieces. Once they're gone, so you can always check that out. I'm gonna have to be redoing a catalog soon, so there's gonna be finally a new edition. We'll get the post up for that when that happens. So that's all there. Stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.